Welcome back everyone to 10 Minutes with Miss Campos. Thank you for joining me once again. This week we've been learning about verb tense and how the authors use them in specific types of text. So today we will learn how to maintain a consistency with our verb tense. We will review these types of writing responses and how to apply the same verb tense throughout our writing. This week we've been learning about verbs and about irregular and regular past tense verbs. We looked at perspective and the lens of an author. We identify types of text that we called narrative and informative or persuasive text. So as a writing prompt, your teacher can ask you to list all the things that you will do today. Say that this is going to be a narrative writing. You're going to write about a plan that you are going to have that has not happened yet. You know that you are going to write in the present tense. Let's take a look at another example. Write about the most memorable science experiment. Again, this is a narrative, and in particular, it would fall under descriptive. You're going to describe this most memorable science experiment. Now, this experiment already must have happened because it is memorable. You remember it. So it will not be in the present tense, it will be in the past tense. So you're going to use those past tense verbs to help indicate my story already happened and this is what I remember about it. We have to make sure that our verbs all are in the past tense. Let's look at our regular and irregular verbs. And says my most memorable science experiment was, indicates this in the past. That's an irregular past tense verb. In middle school, we worked, ed, in groups for our science lab. We had to dissect a frog for the lesson, but we were all grossed out about it. Grossed, ed. After we laughed and giggled, another regular past tense verb, ed. After we laughed and giggled about it, we finally worked up the courage to start. While we began to dissect the frog, my team made these ugly, disgusted faces that made the whole experience hilarious. Made. We have regular past tense verb that we just add an ed at the end to make sure that we're talking about the past. Then we have irregular like was, began. The present tense is begin. Present tense would be is. Tense of made is make. So we kept our verbs consistently. Past tense was just the goal. And this we call verb tense agreement. All our verbs agree with the tense they are in. My writing response is in the past tense, and I made sure that my verbs consistently stayed in the past. Verb tense agreement is if we are talking in the present tense, we're keeping our verbs like eat, play, say in the present. I can do that right now. If I say it is in the past, I would say played. Then this becomes an irregular past tense verb, said. And this, I can't say eat it, I would say ate. So all my verbs have a verb tense agreement. Do you think they're in the present or the past, and how do you know? They're in the past. I made something, I began something, I built something. They are irregular past tense verb because none of them end in ed. Verbs, do you think they are in the past or in the present? That's very good. We noticed that they end in ed, so that tells us right away that they are regular past tense verb. Think about if they have verb tense agreement. Are we all in the same tense? Are all these verbs in the present or are all these verbs in the past? The first verb is grossed. I know it ends in ed, that tells me it is in the past. The next one is disgust. I was disgusted. That's the past tense, so this means this is in the present. And then made is in the past. So far I have past tense, and then this one is talking about the present. If I want these verbs to have verb tense agreement, I would have to add an ed at the end of discussed. Now all of these verbs agree that they are in the past tense. These other three verbs, what tense do you think they are? Present or past? I can tell right away there's a verb that ends in ed, which tells me it is the past, but these do not end in ed. The past tense of tell would be told, so this is present. The past tense of like would be liked, so this word is present, and this is in the past. So if I want to make sure they're all agreeing, I have to make sure that placed is in the present as well, so that they're all in the same tense. Next prompt asks us, what makes you happy? Already I can tell the verb is in present, make. So we are going to respond in the present tense. We're going to look for those verbs and make sure they agree with the present tense. My family makes me happy. The verb is makes. I like spending time with them. Like and spending. We laugh together and make jokes about each other. We plan trips and weekend events. My mom loves to cook and we all love to eat. My sister likes to do house projects like renovate and upgrade things. My brother likes to work on his car. He builds and replaces car parts. My dad likes to talk and tell lots of stories. We underline our verbs, and none of these verbs we use the ed at the end, which indicates if it is a regular past tense verb. None of these verbs are irregular past tense verb because they are currently in the present tense. If I was to take these verbs and put them in the past tense, I would say made, laughed, planned, loved, ate, cooked, worked. So we made sure that they were all in the present tense and that our verbs agreed. Think about these writing prompts. And how would you answer them? How do you know if it will be in the present or in the past tense? And you can even do the prompts that we did in today's lesson. Go ahead and practice writing using verb tense agreement. You can use one of those prompts I left you at the end of the lesson or make up your own. Are you going to tell a story that already happened or something that is yet to happen? How do you know which tense to use? And how will it help tell your story? Maintaining verb tense agreement in your writing makes sure it's clearer to the reader and make sure your message gets sent across the way you would like it to be. Continue to practice these skills. Stay tuned for day 4 of our next lesson. Until next time, bye-bye.